I love the act of war. Well, let me say that war has somehow made me who I am today. I say somehow because I'm a firm believer of God directing our path as we navigate the journey of life. Just imagine a military conflict that is fought without any meaningful objective. Soldiers are not given reasons why they are fighting. Defeat is potentially the result. On the flip side, let's go down in memory lane and imagine a young man on a front line with a stone and a sling in his hands that has a clear target and, of course, a clear objective. You see, David defeated Goliath because he had a clear objective and, of course, the target being Goliath. You see, growing up as a boy in a small town of Foya in Liberia, my dream was to become a commercial jet pilot. Yes, you heard that right. A commercial jet pilot. But of course, being in that little town, the question in my mind was that how would this ever be possible? There was no answer for me. But something happened in 1989. A war began in my native land, Liberia. A war that ended up killing over 600,000 of my fellow Liberians. Tons of people were left internally displaced. Of course, along with some of my family members, we eventually became refugees in a number of countries in West Africa, including Ghana. Now, during the war in Liberia, our only reliable source of information was the almighty BBC through its flagship programs directed at Africa, known as Focus on Africa and, of course, Network Africa. It was during this time that whenever there are a reporter in Liberia, Elizabeth Blunt, and of course the anchor presenter at Bush House, Robin White, every time that they interview people or speak to someone to analyze the Liberian war at the time, they ask relevant questions, questions that I literally had in my mind to ask either the rebel leaders or whoever they were interviewing at the time. That grew my interest into getting involved in the media and, of course, serving my audience. Fast forward to my time in South Africa. I studied radio production and video production with a clear objective. And that objective was to serve the listener and, of course, serve the viewer, giving them information that they want to hear. You see, listening to the BBC for me at the time, it was like the BBC cared for me so much. And the questions started rumbling through my mind as to how did the BBC know me? How did the BBC know these questions that I was going to ask? And of course, they asked them on my behalf. And with my interest growing into the media, 7 years ago, we started working on a project in Liberia, which its target is to reach the youth of Liberia. Now, I could have said that, hey, Joseph, you from Liberia, your team that you're going to be working with, they are all Liberians. Why not you just, suggest or come out with some programs that your audience will listen to? No, that was not me. We instead decided to hire someone to help us better understand the youth of Liberia, that our programs will be tailored towards them. Today, I am standing here and clearly telling you that we have a clear understanding of who our audience are in Liberia. And programs are developed to target our audience, to get them engaged into what we're doing. You see, my friend, the Bible is full of a lot of promises. And today I want to leave you with my own version of promises that will help each one of us to become a better media outlet or media group. First, knowing my audience. If I know my audience, I will serve them right. If I serve them right, I will grow my audience. If I grow my audience, potentially those companies that want to get onto our platform, they will come to us because they are only interested in the ratings, the number of people that you have listening to your radio station or watching your TV programs, or of course, how many people do you have on that Facebook page? So my friend, the experience from the war and listening to the BBC have enabled me today to have a better understanding as to how I'll serve my audience. It is my prayer that each one of us today will leave from here with an understanding of serving our audience rather than serving our personal objectives first. Because most often as I travel around Africa, this is what I see. God bless you, and of course, talk to you again.